Welcome back to Dead Good Book Reviews. I'm Judith and you're watching another What I'm Reading Right Now video here on the channel. This is the series where I talk about what I have been reading, what I'm currently reading, and what I shall be reading next. Last time I spoke to you, I had yet to finish a book in 2024, which was not great, but things are looking up. I have finished 7 books in the last 2 weeks or so, and I'm excited to tell you all about them. Broad trend for this period of time, audiobooks have been my friend. I've been working on some really large embroidery projects. I've been doing a lot of physical work, I've been doing a lot of stuff, and audio has just been the way to go, but I've just about started to claw back my ability to read physical books, so there's a good mix of stuff in here. First off, after I couldn't tell you how many weeks, I finally finished A Psalm of Storms and Silence. This is the sequel to A Song of Wraiths and Ruin. This is a fantasy YA duology from Roseanne Brown. I really liked this. I think if you've read similar YA fantasy in the past, you will like this as well. It's a very interesting world. We have 2 characters sort of pit against each other. I liked the sequel. I wouldn't say it's a series I will hang on to forever and reread again and again, but I'm glad that I have read them. Then another audiobook, I finished The Faithless by C.L. Clarke. This is the sequel to The Unbroken. I liked this a lot. I think definitely doing it by audio was the best thing for my brain, especially after my experience reading The Unbroken, which I talked about last time we spoke. I think this is a really solid sequel. I think it's a really interesting theme and topic. I will have a video coming out on it very shortly, so I won't dwell on it too much here. But overall, if you're asking me if I recommend reading the series, I 100% do, and I do think the audiobook was very good. The next book I finished was a library book. I read A Study in Drowning by Ava Reid, who also wrote The Wolf and the Woodsman, is the other book of hers that I've read. This I absolutely loved. It is a fantastic story about a woman who is studying to be an architecture student. I'll actually put this down so you're not getting the glare. She's studying to be an architecture student. She really wants to be a literature student. Women aren't allowed to study literature. So she's doing architecture, and then she wins a contest slash prizey kind of thing of designing the house for this author who's famously known in the place that they are. He's died and they're rebuilding his house, but there's a lot of creepy stuff going on. There's definitely mysteries happening, and I don't want to spoil any elements of this book because it is just so fantastic, and definitely one of those books you have to discover for yourself, but it's just really beautifully written. I think it has a lot of great messages for the world about authorship and authors who have been silenced. I was talking to Justine about it, and also some good stuff for the book community as a whole. Very interesting. Would definitely recommend reading, even if you didn't love Ava Reid's other stuff. I think this is different enough. You might like this. I then finished The Cautious Traveller's Guide to the Wasteland by Sarah Brooks. This is a book that's coming out much later in 2024. It is really good. It is about a group of passengers, very different kinds of passengers, and also people who work on a train travelling across from Russia to China. No, China to Russia. It is the Trans-Siberian Express, but in this context, the wastelands that it is travelling through have a magical effect, and there's a lot to do with the fact that the train has to remain completely sealed, but there's a mystery going on with what happened to the previous train, and it's kind of almost survival horror at times. It's not a horror book, but it has those elements to it. I loved this. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. It just hit in all the right places for me. I thought it was really interesting. The ending is super cool. I will be recommending this to a lot of people. I'm gonna film a video for it, but it might not be out till much later in the year. So when you see me wearing 2 layers of wool in the middle of summer, know that I filmed it now. But yes, 100% recommend. Such a great book. After that, I finished The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axie Oh. This is a retelling of a Korean legend, and I liked it. I don't think it was as exceptional as I was kind of made to feel like it might be. It just wasn't really something that I super enjoyed. I do think the writing is beautiful. I think the world building is beautiful. I do think it has that Spirited Away kind of feeling to it, which is why I think a lot of people did enjoy it. For me, I think possibly I went in with too high expectations, or possibly it just wasn't what my brain wanted. I kind of left feeling like it was fine, but nothing overly special, which, you know, fine books are fine. Our main character jumps in the sea to make herself the sea god's bride, rather than a friend of hers going instead, and she gets down there and the sea god is asleep under some kind of curse. She has to try and break the curse. Spirit world kind of feeling. A good book, not anything that I would be necessarily yelling about, but I will have a video review up for it in the future. I finished The City of Stardust. This is another book coming out later this year. This I did by audio. I had an audiobook review copy. I think doing it by audio meant I liked it more, but also meant it took a lot longer longer to finish. I think it took me a week and a half or something. This is the story about a girl called Violet whose family has been cursed. That every generation, one of the Everleys, her family, will be taken, they will go missing, they will be gone. Her mother has gone away, they don't know where, and the deadline is coming up for Violet to be taken as well. She ends up getting tied into this sort of otherworldly, secret society, magical thing going on. It's very similar to, what's it called? It's behind me. The Starless Sea. Very Night Circus, very that sort of tone in terms of etherealness and mystery and things not 100% being explained, but you kind of just have to roll with it. I overall liked this as a book. I'm not going to spoil the ending for you, but I didn't think the ending was great, and I will have a review up for it at some point in the future. But yes, I would say if you're thinking about pre-ordering it, if you liked The Night Circus and The Starless Sea, you can pre-order this with no worries. You will probably enjoy this as well. And most recently, today in fact, I finished The Principle of Moments. This is a space opera big book that's got a lot of marketing behind it this year. I think probably with deservingness. It deserves that marketing. Where's the word? It was good. That's what I'm trying to say. Possibly for me, it was a touch too long. It just needed a little bit of editing down. There's a lot of ideas. There's a lot of different threads going on. And I think perhaps just a tiny bit tighter, I would have enjoyed it a little bit more, or possibly moving more stuff into a future book, perhaps. But I did think it was a really good book. There are some standout moments in the story. It's very much one of those books where the individual scenes will stick with me more than the overall plot. But we've got a lot to do with destiny and heroism and slavery and... oh, I'm trying to think what else. History, time travel, it's got a lot in there. It's going to be really interesting to see where this series goes as a whole. The series is called The Order of Legends. And yeah, I will be interested to see what other people think about this. A lot of Space Sirens have this to read at the moment, and I'm excited to hear their thoughts. Obviously, that's a fair amount read. You would think I would be on top of my reading list, but I have never been further beneath it. I'm not doing well in terms of sticking to my schedule, but I'm trying my best. My priorities for reading this week are A Letter to the Luminous Deep by Sylvie Cattrall. This is a review copy that I've had for a little while now. An epistolary romance between two scholars that will take you to the depths of a magical sea. Looking forward to seeing what this is like. Epistolary novels, it's a maybe for me, we'll see. And I also want to do a reread of The Sword Defiant by Gareth Hanrahan. I don't know if this is going to be too much for me in terms of the amount of words that are in this and the small font, but I would really like to give it a go, and I do want to film the video for this next week, so I should try and prioritise. I'd like to get at least 3/4 of the way through by the end of this week. It can be done. Also this week, I would like to read The Death I Gave Him by MX Liu. This is another library book. This is the sci-fi Hamlet, 21st century Hamlet. I'm looking forward to seeing what that is like. And I also still have Heart's Blood by Juliette Marillier, I can never say it properly, that one of my patrons recommended. And again, it's just, I've not picked it up yet, but I don't think it will take too long to read when I do. I just haven't started it yet. So hopefully no one is behind me in the library queue and I can renew it again and everything will be fine. That's still not everything. I have 2 Everand books I would like to get to. The Story of Silence, which I mentioned last week. Basically, Everand is unlimited reading, but it's not really unlimited. They cut you off at a certain point, and my stuff doesn't renew until the 20th. So by the time you're watching this, I will hopefully have been able to read The Story of Silence and The Inheritance of Orchidia Divina. I think I'm saying that right, but I might be very wrong. Both of these are audiobooks. Both of them I really do want to get to, and audiobooks have been working for me, but I think I can accept that those will probably flow into next week, and that's okay. New releases. Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands is about to be out, and I do have a video scheduled for it. I haven't filmed that yet. I'm filming that today, so it's on my list, and I will get to it. If you haven't read them already, these are light academia fantasy romance novels. A good time if you don't mind a book presented as diary entries. The Principle of Moments I have just mentioned. Again, would love to get a video out. It's not going to come out in the next 2 days, but I did like it and I would recommend reading it. And Feybound by Sarah El-Arifi is a book that I have not read, I have not had access to, but I would really like to. I think it's one that I would like to audiobook, possibly, and I will be keeping an eye out for when it is available in places. I think I had 2 books added to my TBR that I haven't already mentioned. One is The Sanctuary of the Shadow, or just Sanctuary of the Shadow. I think it's just the latter, by Aurora Asher. This is the circus book that may or may not be a good time. I'm gonna find out and let you know. And also The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett, which wasn't in any of my new releases videos, but I am really excited to read it. I hadn't realised it was coming out. Thank you to whoever commented that on one of my videos. Yes, I would like to read it, and I will be doing so. I think that's everything I wanted to cover. What have you been reading? What have you been up to? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're commenting, if you haven't already, please do subscribe. It makes me feel loved and appreciated. You can also come hang out on Discord where we have chill chats about books. I'd like to say an enormous thank you to all the ghosts who haunt me over on Patreon. They support the channel and in return get early access to videos, bonus content, live streams, and more. If you'd like to join their number, that's linked down below as well. Thank you so much to you for watching. That's all from me, and I will see you in the next one.
It's gonna be some bloopers now.
Well, this is the series where I talk about where I have been reading.